Hi, Ganothi Seutan, love, blessing, peace, abundance, prosperity, health, healing to you and your family. And wanted to talk about patterns. Patterns are so powerful and it's so incredible. It's very, very fascinating if you look into sacred geometry. And sacred geometry is very, very powerful because the work has been done for just such a long time. I mean, there's so much there waiting for us, and sometimes when you look at it, it can seem a bit overwhelming. But you just got to remember that this, has been, it's a work that's been worked on, for thousands of years. So, when you look into it, remember that again, people have been, calculating this. They've been understanding this. They've been working with this for quite some time. So I think all of us, when we first look into it, feel a bit overwhelmed. But the cool thing is, especially with patterns, is when we can see, we can just see them in our own life, when we can just see these patterns. And for us as humans, it's a little bit different than the patterns of creation, like the Fibonacci sequence, the Mandelbrot set, the golden mean, which are all really, really fascinating to look into. They're everywhere. They're in everything that we see manifested around us. So very, very powerful and really, really cool, to see that there is a pattern. And when we recognize that there is a pattern and that there are different patterns, and we look into our own life and we recognize that probably what we can identify, once we have the chance to see it, well, we can identify most of these patterns manifesting in our life as our emotional occurrences, emotional situations, where we see patterns of the same type of situation creating the same type of emotion for us. And it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes we end up in reoccurring, repeating patterns that are disturbing. They can bring stress. They can bring anxiety. And because we are feeling the result of these patterns, again, we're vibrational beings, so we vibrate that frequency, and it's not always intentional. It's just something that happens because of the way our physiology works, but we end up attracting more of those same type of situations. And this isn't an immature emotional way of looking at things. There's no blame game going on here. It's just like gravity. It's a law of the universe that is active. And when we recognize these patterns and we recognize them, we can become aware of them. That's where we can start to have control over them. And if we are recognizing a recurring, repeating negative pattern, we can disconnect that energy and stop it from happening again. And that's, for me, one of the things that I really found a very powerful breakthrough with was the 100 breath blessing, where I just start to focus on my breath. And for some people, maybe 10 breaths is enough, maybe 5 breaths is enough. But if you're dealing with something intense, sometimes, you do 10 deep breaths or 10, cleansing breaths, and then you go right back to the same feeling. That's why for me, the 100 breaths, it was more effective, because it wasn't like, okay, 10 breaths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then get right back to, the same energy I was trying to change. And so if you're in a situation, maybe during the day, maybe you have a coworker that, bothers you, disturbs you, and, gets you in a spiral of these types of negative patterns, just start the 100 breaths. And again, these aren't labored breaths. It's just recognizing your breath. And sometimes you'll take a deep cleansing breath, then sometimes just take a regular breath. But it's all about being sensitive to your energy. And when you get to higher breaths, usually right around 50, you start to notice that your energy is changing. You'll certainly notice that you have more oxygen flowing through your system. You may feel a little bit of tingling. If you go a little bit too far, you may feel a little bit lightheaded. So that's when you either want to stop or just breathe slower. But it will change your energy. And when you focus on 100 breaths, it takes your mind off of the offense. It takes your mind off of whatever created the negative feeling or emotion. And it takes it off of it for a duration of time, long enough for you to create a different feeling. And if you can go to 100, that's fantastic. And again, you want it to be easy, relaxed breaths, just that you're just focusing on the breaths, counting to 100 breaths. And then when you get to 100, if you have some nice, clean, filtered water, some herbal tea, something that is going to hydrate you. After 100 breaths, if you take a nice, refreshing drink, it's a little bit more than just hydrating you. It's the combination of the element of water and the element of air in your alchemical laboratory, your body. And a lot of energy functions in the body don't work if you're dehydrated. So it's good to take a drink before as well. Of course, you can't always do that if you're using the 100 breaths to change the energy of a negative emotional situation. But when you start practicing the 100 breaths, if you can take a nice drink of water before you start, after you do 100, and then if you take a drink after you do 100, and you feel up to it, do another 100, and then keep repeating that process. And what you'll find is that you'll come to a place where you start to have more control, more mastery over your emotions, and you also have a safe exit from negative emotions. You have a way to get out of them quickly and not allow them to take root and start to be reoccurring patterns in your life. So when we recognize the patterns, when we recognize that we live in a reality of patterns, and that these patterns are not just somebody's idea or somebody's hypothesis, these are calculations, these are sequences, the Fibonacci sequence, the golden mean, the Mandelbrot set. These are things that have been now proven by supercomputers and AI and everything else that people need to just validate that something is actually real. So we can have faith in them, we can have an understanding, and hopefully we can couple them with spirit, with what the ancient mothers and fathers have been telling us for since the beginning of time, to help us to have freedom, to help us to be free in all aspects of our life, and to save us from getting stuck in these reoccurring patterns, these patterns that are not healthy. And if you find yourself in one, again, it's not for judgment, it's not a sentence or a judgment against you, it's just recognition. And because when you recognize something, then you can change it, because a lot of things happen without us understanding. A lot of things happen subliminally. A lot of things are handed down to us through our parents that they didn't understand, but were handed down to them through their parents. There's a lot of recurring patterns that become a way of life in cultures. Of course, we have all different types of influence in the media. We really don't know the depths or the extent of subliminal programming, what that has had on us. So Again, none of this is meant for judgment. None of this is meant to judge anybody as a negative or bad person, or any type of villain. We're just recognizing where we are in this moment of time, and the influences that are influencing us, and taking control, detaching ourselves from things that we're not helping us. Some people don't like the term not serving us, but things that are maybe toxic, that are not giving you energy, but are actually draining your energy. An old term used to be soul ties. Some people would go even a little bit more extreme and call them emotional vampires or energetic vampires of certain people, certain situations. So the point is to recognize when you feel yourself being depleted, when you feel yourself being depressed, when you feel yourself being under a little bit of a heavy emotion, and to gain the mastery to be able to change that energy, to start recognizing your breaths, using the power of your breaths. Breaths are very, very powerful. But when you start bringing extra oxygen in, it does more than just change your focus, and change your your mental and emotional awareness at the time. It also feeds your body more oxygen, and when your body has more oxygen, the mitochondria are stronger, they work better, your cells work better, everything starts to work better, and you start to feel better, pretty much on every level. And so give it a try. Try the 100 breath blessing. Try it when you have a little bit of just quiet time, so you can get a feel, so you can get see where your comfort zone is in breathing, and get a little bit of experience with it, get some mastery with it, and then use it as a tool if you find yourself in a situation where you're feeling a way that you just simply don't want to feel. Hope that blesses you. Hope that helps you. Love, peace, blessing unto you and your family. Ganoti Sayatan.